when they went to the queen to tell her her subjects had no bread. Do you know what she said?
Let them eat cake.
We're
getting screwed, man. Every time we turn around, we're getting screwed. Oh, the revolution's going to be through podcasting for sure. That's the only way we talk. It's the little guys that take the brunt of everything. It's got to stop. Peasants, man. We're just peasants. Every one of us. You watch those old movies, you see the peasants in the background with the kings and queens walking around. We're those people. We're those people. Good evening, peasants. Welcome to another episode of Liberty Lounge. I'm live with Lisa from 1776live.us. And as we do, as often as we can, we come here and do Liberty Lounge. And we don't really have any specific agenda today other than Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that tune in and listen, including my own father most of the time. Seems to pop in and say hi from time to time. But anyways, so yeah, welcome back. Did we do Liberty Lounge last week?
Oh my gosh. It was our first week back.
Yeah, that's right. It's so crazy. Like, time just flies.
It is crazy.
Can't keep track of it at all. So we've had quite a few new members in the community. So for those of you that tune in from the 1776live.us community, welcome. Glad to have you guys. For those of you that are peasants tuning in, this is a chance for you guys to get to meet Lisa over at 1776. So it's Father's Day. So I woke up this morning and, I got the, Happy Father's Day, all that kind of fun stuff. And on every Sunday, I usually go out with a couple of my friends. We go to Buffalo Wild Wings and we sit there and drink, Diet Pepsis and have some wings and we just hang out. So it's like a sitting appointment that we have every Sunday. We go do that. And so we all confirmed with each other, you guys all going to go, we doing it on Father's Day? And yeah, our wives say, let's do it. So we went and had our lunch, came back, and I walk in the door and there's a brand new golf bag sitting there and a little card from my family. It was so cute. It was so fun.
That's lovely.
Really fun. That was really great. It's so fun to enjoy like the little holidays since I've been back. So anyways, what'd you do for your man for Father's Day?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I hope he can't hear me. He's wanted a new leash for the dog. And we've been looking all over the place. So I got him a new leash and I got a new collar for the dog. Because my husband, that's his favorite thing, is playing with the dog. And it's a cool collar because it's not dangly. It's just his name with our phone number and it's embroidered. So I think he'll appreciate that. And then I got him, my husband loves puzzles and he's out of his mind. He will do a puzzle upside down without the picture. So I got him a double-sided, he's a Star Wars fan, double-sided Star Wars puzzle.
Uh-oh.
And I'm praying he's not going to ask me to do it with him because it's going to drive me insane. And then last but not least, this last week we went to a Rush concert, which was a very big deal for him. He's a musician. He loves Rush. And it was 50-something is the name of the concert because they've been performing for 50-something years. Uh-huh. And their lead drummer passed. This guy is amazing. And it was real emotional. I mean, most of the people in the audience were older than us. I could not believe it. There was a guy behind us. It was his 37th time seeing Rush. Can you even imagine? Like, they are such fans. So there was a magazine, and my husband and I, when we first got together, date night for us was the bookstore. We went to the bookstore. We went to the bookstore and we went to movies. My husband's also a screenwriter. And this is something I want to talk about for you guys. It's a tough time to be a man in this culture. Like, it's tough to be masculine, right? You're supposed to be watered down. And we're not raising a boy. I know you have lots of boys. We have one girl. And I remember when I was pregnant and we found out we're having a girl, he's like, I don't know how to raise a girl. I don't know what to do with a girl, And I said, well, tell her about being a man. Tell her what what she needs to know about men. And he's like, oh, okay, I can do that. So he felt a lot more comfortable with that. But I just want to share, and I know you've heard me say this, Taylor, that my husband made me a better woman, a better mother. He has been such a grounding force in my life, and he's not perfect. We've gone through a lot of challenges, and he's had a really tough time professionally because as a screenwriter, he was canceled in Hollywood completely. They literally said, if you're not gay and you're not touting the woke agenda, you're not going to get hired. And it was devastating, and he didn't kill himself. I think he thought about it. I literally, he was so depressed at one point. So I just want to have a shout out to all the men who have struggled through these decades of the mixed messages and not knowing who to be and how to be, and hanging in there and just being a good man and a good partner and doing your best and showing up. Like that means so much. He's been my backbone.
Yeah, no, that's really great. We called my father and my father-in-law today and said Happy Father's Day to them, which, I mean, seems like, the phone lines are going to burn up on Mother's Day and Father's Day, of course, but it was nice to talk to them. And, I really appreciate my dad. Like, the older I get, the more I realize how much I'm like him and, have similar viewpoints on a lot of things. We're different in a lot of ways, but at the same time, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I just really appreciate so many of the things that he taught me. And one of the things that he taught me when I was really young was, and I can't remember exactly how the topic came up, but he said, Taylor, the thing I value most is independence, for my kids to learn how to be independent. And, that's something that's always stuck with me. Like, learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, be accountable for what you do, settle your own fights, that kind of thing. And I just really appreciate that that was kind of the example he set. My dad's always been a great caregiver. My mom and dad still together. It's just, it's great. I just love them. But anyways, happy Father's Day, Dad, if he does end up listening to this, or if he isn't listening in the chat somewhere. But thank you so much. Just happy Father's Day. But no, Father's Day is an interesting holiday. It's kind of one of these, like, makes you wonder, is this a commercial holiday?
Yeah. Holiday? Tell us the history.
Well, Father's Day actually comes from Spokane, Washington, believe it, of all places.
Your backyard.
Yeah. Well, I wish it's my side yard. It's over the hill. But anyways, it comes from Spokane, Washington. So there's been lots of traditions and lots of cultures that have celebrated fatherhood in one way or another. But back in 1909, while listening to a Mother's Day sermon at a church, a lady named Sonora Smart Dodd was listening to a radio broadcast. And she was one of 6 children. She was raised by her single father, who was a Civil War veteran. His name was William Jackson Smart. And after her mother died in childbirth, she thought fathers deserved better recognition. So she just felt like, she'd been raised by a single dad basically after the Civil War. And after listening to some Mother's Day sermon, she's like, you know what? Dads should have a day too. So she proposed the idea to her local Spokane Ministerial Alliance. And initially, she suggested her father's birthday, June 5th. So we almost had Father's Day on June 5th. But the pastor, so this is where it gets commercial, okay? I don't know if it's commercial or not. It's just good planning. But the pastors chose the 3rd Sunday in June instead because they just needed more time to prep after Mother's Day because it was the 2nd in May. It was like,
oh, funny.
Way too close. So they bumped it out till the 3rd week in June. Funny. So they adopted it. And so they had their first Father's Day celebration on June 19th. So this is the first official Father's Day celebration organized in Spokane, June 19th, 1910 in Spokane. It involved church services. There was YMCA events, right? Young Men's Christian Association events. They had roses, red for living fathers, white for deceased, and community support. The Dodd family continued to actively campaign with churches, YMCA, and officials to approve it. And so that's how it spread. Father's Day spread as essentially a ministry outreach and YMCA's kind of spreading around the holiday. So eventually it kind of started to, spread around through the YMCA's probably mainly. And the holiday spread, but you know, I think a lot of people probably viewed it as a commercial holiday. Eventually, President Woodrow Wilson reportedly honored it and informally in 1916. So it started in 1910. By 1916, they had the President of the United States doing an informal Father's Day. So that's not bad. That's not bad, right? That sounds like it got trending at some point. It's like the TikTok went viral. So it went viral. And in 1924, President Calvin Coolidge supported national observance, and he urged the states to celebrate it. By 1966, Lyndon Johnson issued the first presidential proclamation designating the third Sunday in June as Father's Day, and then it became a permanent holiday in 1972 when President Richard Nixon signed it into law. So if they ever did something like President Trump has done for Joe Biden, I declare all of his auto pen signatures null and void, right? If they said everything Richard Nixon did is gone, then we'd lose Father's Day. So we can't let that happen. So unlike Mother's Day, which was made official in 1914, Father's Day, of course, took a lot longer to get full federal recognition.
Although when it comes to Richard Nixon, that might not be such a bad idea if they did it, because then you go back on the gold standard.
But it's right back on the gold standard, yeah.
Right?
That would be really interesting how that would play out, though.
I don't know what else he did, but
yeah. Anyways, so now around the world, it's kind of universally celebrated at the time that Americans celebrate it. And I think there are some other countries that have adopted it or something like it. But anyways, it's great. I think, I'm kind of one of those ones that's like Mother's Day needs its own special day. And I think Father's Day does too. Like, fathers play an incredibly important role in society. I remember when I was in prison, that was one of the most common things we talked about, fathers that were absent. One time I was standing in a hallway and we were on a blue light. I was in a medical center, right? And so we had a blue light, which meant someone high security. Either it meant a bunch of things. It could mean someone was high security, was being transported. It could be there was a medical emergency. It could be there was a fight. We could get a blue light for anything. But on blue light, you're basically locked down in place. So all throughout the prison, all the halls have closing and exit doors. So every hallway could become a prison. They just close the doors and you're stuck. And so that's where I was at. I was stuck behind a blue light, and I was behind the bars leading into a different part of the hallway or whatever. But there was myself and there were 8 other men standing there. And I started talking about intergenerational incarceration. And I was like, statistically, from what I understand, is like if your parent is incarcerated, you're statistically way more likely to be incarcerated. And every one of them was like, oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And so I said, how many of you guys in here have parents that were incarcerated? And all 8 of them raised their hands. Their dad or their mom or both had been incarcerated. And one of them was old enough. 2 of them were old enough that they had kids that were over 18 and, in their 20s or 30s. These guys were like in their 50s and 60s, and their kids were incarcerated already. So grandpa, son, grandson, all already incarcerated. It was absolutely incredible. And it was like, what is that? It's like it starts with just lack of fatherhood, and it just cascades down. It's like each father gets taken from its home. And I'm not justifying crime in any way or saying that you should go soft on crime because dads won't be with their kids. Like, there are consequences for behavior, right? But sometimes you look at a situation like that and you're just like, holy cow, fatherhood is so important. And to have a father in the home and just that relationship, like, life's not perfect, but fathers are important.
And as a parent, I don't think we are cognizant enough of how we are modeling. Whatever we say, we think we're teaching the lessons by what we say. It's our behavior. They watch us, they study us, they know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think if we did just that one thing, be the person you want your kid to model, even when they're not looking.
Yeah.
It's a high bar. It's a high bar. And I remember before we had our daughter, my husband and I had our worst fight. We did have our daughter. No, because she came with us. We were going to Denmark on a shoot. and we had a terrible fight. And I remember looking at him saying, the problem with you is that you didn't have a parent to model yourself after, because his dad was an alcoholic. And he was so mad. And I had never verbalized that before. And I don't think he ever thought about that before. But he tried so hard to be this outstanding man, this outstanding person in our lives. But he didn't realize he didn't have a role model. Like his role models were on TV, you know? So I think that has, like, not to be unrealistic, like to be realistic. Like I watched what he put himself through. It was an unrealistic bar. Like it was insane what he was trying to portray. And he never realized he didn't have a role model. So I think it's important to look at who our role models are, and have we made those decisions cognitively of who we want to be to our kids.
Yeah, I agree. I agree entirely. You know, being there and just like your kids will see your deeds more than they'll hear your words. You know?
100%.
Yeah, completely. So, anyways, well, Lisa, I don't have anything else. I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there, especially my father and my grandfathers and my father-in-laws. That's the thing about Mother's Day and Father's Day, is you look around and you realize how many members of our society are mothers and fathers, right? And that is really the glue. Like that is the glue.
Yeah.
Another one of those things, you know, these lessons from prison. But family is all you have. Right? Family is all you have. I would see.
And even those that you make your family that you're not related to, that family.
Yes, you can have those strong bonds too. And they do become family. They really do. Like I no doubt about that. But you find out who your friends are and you really know who your family are. Right? I'd meet people who did some horrendous things. And who was the one phone call that they made? Who's the only mom, dad, you know, the only person in the world that was still going to love a kid even if he'd done horrible things. And it doesn't even mean that they think he shouldn't be in jail or whatever, but it's like still their kid. Like they make peace with those kind of things, and that's all that's left is family. And anyways, it's incredibly important. So
Mwah! Much love to you. Go enjoy your family. It was fun.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much. See you next week.
Night.
And then the rest of you tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. We'll see you there. Pacific time. Bye.
Bye-bye.